Hi, I'm Sarah, and I'm gonna show you how to frost a 2-layer cake like a pro. With the right tools and a few tips, believe me, we've got this. Here are the tools you really need to frost a cake like a pro. A cardboard cake round, I like an 8-inch or a 9-inch, a turntable, a bench knife, an offset spatula, I like the larger size like an 8-inch or a 7-inch, and a serrated knife. You can find the link to the Master Baker Kit on our website at wildryebaking.com. All of this can also be easily found online with a quick Google search. Here we're gonna be frosting our pink velvet cake layers with some coconut matcha frosting, and like the two together are just so good. But as you can see, there's a bit of a dome on this cake. It's just got a bit of a top and it's not super flat. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my serrated knife and I am going to work to level the top of the cake. Don't get nervous, you can totally do this. The way that you keep your cake looking perfect or as close to perfect as possible is to keep your knife parallel to your turntable or the counter that you're working on. And you know the benefit of doing this too? In the food world, we call this a chef's treat. And this means that I get to snack on this later when we're done filming. Now you can tell that we've got a nice smooth and flat top to frost. And I'm gonna do that with the second layer right now. So next step is to assemble our cake layers. We're gonna need our cardboard cake round for this. I'm gonna set it on my turntable, and then I'm gonna take my cake, and instead of putting it top up like you might anticipate, I'm actually gonna put it top down because the bottom is the most flat part. And that's gonna give me a really even place to frost and assemble my cake layers. So top down, I baked mine with parchment on the bottom. It prevents sticking and I highly recommend it. So be sure to take that parchment paper off when you're ready to go. And now we're gonna doll up some coconut matcha frosting on this first layer. So frosting goes on, and I'm gonna use my offset spatula to smooth it. So I like to work from the center out. I push things around, working as much as I can from the center out. Take your time, there's no rush. Have fun with it. First layer has frosting on it. Now it's time to assemble the second layer and put it on top. So parchment paper comes off. Nobody wants to eat that. And our layers are assembled. The next step is going to be what we call a crumb coat in the pastry world. The crumb coat is something that almost every bakery will do, but not every home baker will do. It's an added step. It does take a little bit more time, but I guarantee you it's going to give you a much more beautiful and perfect finished product. Our cake is ready. I'm gonna dollop a lot of frosting on the top of the cake and then work my way around the sides. We're actually gonna take some of the extra frosting off, but start with more than you think you need. Using the turntable to help me, this tool is like a godsend. I love this thing. And now I've got my top frosted and I'm gonna work around the sides to get some even coverage, but it doesn't have to be perfect. This is gonna actually get hidden by another layer of frosting. So the crumb coat is not about being perfect. It's about just kind of shellacking all the crumbs to the sides of the cake using the frosting itself. So I'm gonna take some frosting on my offset spatula and kind of smooth it around the edges of my cake. All right, so we've got a nice thin frosting layer around the entirety of our cake. The trick here is to freeze your cake or refrigerate it, but freezing is faster, so that's my go-to. I pop it in the freezer for 10 minutes. If you're going in the refrigerator, try like 15 to 20. And the ease with which you'll be able to frost your cake afterwards is amazing. It's like one of my favorite tools, and a lot of pastry chefs love this technique of the crumb coat for this reason. Okay, so now you have like this set layer of frosting that you can touch. It feels really secure. It's not like wobbly or shifting to the side. And this really is gonna make your final layer of frosting easier on you. And that's what I'm here for, is to help. I like to dollop a lot on top, and then I'm gonna work my way along the sides. And we're gonna start the same way, smoothing from the outside across the top, using the turntable to help you spin the cake. And now I'm gonna start frosting the sides. But now that I have the crumb coat set, it makes it really easy to apply the frosting. This trick is really gonna change your frosting game. So now my sides and top are evenly coated. You could leave it like this. I think it looks delicious, but if you want that like super smooth, super professional looking edge, the bench knife is what you need. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm basically gonna try to keep my bench knife as even as possible, and I'm not moving my bench knife, I'm just moving the turntable. So now that those sides are perfectly smooth with the tip and the tool of our bench knife, I'm gonna go ahead and even out the top, and your cake is ready to be adorned however you like. So I'm using my offset spatula to just scrape off some of that frosting that came up when I was using the bench knife to smooth the sides. But at this point, look at this cake. It looks pretty freaking perfect to me. You could put candles on this, you could put sprinkles on this, you could decorate with florals. The world is your oyster. Have fun with it, but this is the way to get a perfect base for a perfectly frosted 2-layer cake.